What's up, D-Bags? Hope you guys are doing well. We're back here again with another episode of the Detox Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Darren Rita. Feel free to connect with me at any of the links down below. Say hey, say what's up. And if you're new here and you enjoy music, podcast, hooping, or comedy, do consider subscribing because we got a whole lot of that going on around here. Now, the rest of this episode is not going to be taking place in the studio. Why, you might ask, is because actually, if you've seen, which a lot of you have, our most recent vlog where me and some of the guys went to a professional wrestling match, well, several matches, and we came face to face with some pro wrestlers, talked some smack. They talked some smack back to us. It was a ton of fun over at poww Entertainment, and I actually got in touch with them and was going to have one of them come out to the studio to be on the podcast, but scheduling wise, we couldn't make it happen, and I really, really wanted it to happen. So I ended up making the drive, going down to Bridgeview, Illinois, from where I'm at in Wisconsin, and it was definitely worth it. I got to interview the Revolution, which is actually the reigning tag team champions of poww Entertainment, and one of them is actually Jimmy Blaze, who is the actual owner of poww Entertainment, and I got to sit down with both of them in the ring and really just chop it up about the underground wrestling scene, some of the things that they go through time and time again. And it was awesome conversation, some crazy, crazy stories from these guys. But I realized I didn't do an intro like I normally do on the podcast because I didn't have my stuff. So I wanted to preface this episode so you're not just like, wait, what the hell is Dara doing in a wrestling ring? What's going on? I kind of do a little bit as the episode starts, but just wanted to give you guys a little thing there before we get started. But like I said, subscribe if you guys haven't. I've got a bunch of clothes here in front of me. You guys can't see, but our new merch, my latest merch drop, is almost completely sold out. It basically is sold out. We got like 5-6 shirts left, and we've only got the yellow and green color left. Really cool shirts. So if you want some, get in touch with me at any of the links down below because they're probably going to be sold out by the end of this week. But aside from that, I want to also say, and I got to click this myself today. There's nobody here. Shout out to Kenosha Auto Insurance for sponsoring this episode. These days, it seems as if we're able to do more and more from home. So while you're at home, why aren't you saving money on your car insurance? Kind of silly to me. Your hometown agency, Kenosha Auto Insurance, has specialized for years in simple, hassle-free car insurance using the latest and touch-free technology to help you and your family get the best rates. So, what are you waiting for, dog? Give them a call today at 262-448-4141. That's 262-448-4141. The website's kenoshains.com. It's on the screen right now. It's linked down below. Give them a call. Tell them D-Rita Detox sent you. The worst that could happen is you will get the best rates. Now, enjoy the episode, guys.
Welcome to the Detox Podcast. Yeah. Welcome to the Detox Pod where we don't know what the hell is going on. Yeah, welcome to the Detox Podcast. Yeah.
What's up, D-Bags? Hope you guys are doing well. We're back here again with another episode of the Detox Podcast, episode 139, if I remember correctly. The notes aren't in front of me today. I'm free-balling it. We're doing it. We're here in the ring, actually. I don't even know where I am. I'm here in a wrestling ring, so you guys probably have an idea of what might be going on today or who I might be talking to today. Now, today first, I'm going to be sitting down with a few different wrestlers today, but the first of which is the owner and reigning tag team champion of poww Entertainment. We have the psychotic Jimmy Blaze. Thank you for being here, man.
Darren, thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate you doing this, man.
I'm a little scared though. You're free balling and I'm a D-bag?
It's Detox. We got the D-Bags are here. They're in support of us. But I appreciate you doing this. And where are we, first off?
We're at the Bridgeview Park District.
Okay.
Way south. It's out of the area where we normally run. But an old-time wrestler, his name was Ed Shanahan, that's his real name.
Yeah.
And Mickey was the wrestler. He was in AWA. He works out here several times. He got tight with the people here. They were looking for something different to do.
Yeah.
They found out he was a wrestler. They asked him, hey, do you know anybody?
Yeah.
It was between us and another company. And when they called the other company, the company said, well, how far is that? You want to expand and you want to get your name out there plus get a payday.
Don't ask that question. Yeah.
So this is our third event here.
Okay,
We
cool.
did February, right before COVID hit.
Nice.
Then we did last 4th of July. That was in front of 5,000 people. That was amazing.
That's crazy.
That was outside, not in here.
I was gonna say it'd be tight in here with 5,000
yeah.
people, but you still got a lot of room in here.
This
a lot of room in
building
here.
has history too. I used to be part of WWA.
Okay.
They were blowing up for a while in the 90s, and they used to run shows out of this building too.
Really?
So when the opportunity came and they said Bridgeview Park District, I'm like, man, I hope we go back to the same place.
Yeah.
And here we are.
That's crazy.
And everything's set up the same, but there was not a locker room upstairs. It was like old and run down.
Yeah.
And if you walk through those doors and kind of turn to the right later, it's just a hallway, but they spiced it up to actually look like a hallway and not just a janitor's closet, which it was back then. So,
Oh wow, because they just kind of built an expansion off it. Nice,
yeah.
nice.
But
Wow.
we're here.
That's all.
We're
Well,
ready for a
I'm
huge
happy to
show,
be
too.
here. It's crazy. This is the first time I've been in a wrestling ring, by the way. This
Okay.
is super cool. Childhood dream fulfilled right now.
All
The
right.
fact that I'm in here.
But would the dream be better if you kept wrestling and learned how to wrestle?
That would be.
We should talk after.
We should talk. That would be awesome. Now I introduced you as the owner of poww Entertainment. How do you? I mean, just the fact that not only you became a wrestler, that you went down this, I'm sure, an incredible amount of challenges down this road, and different things that most people that aren't into wrestling or don't do necessarily even different forms of entertainment are going to understand or know. But then you took it a step further and decided to found your own company. How does this happen?
I can give you the quick version or the long version.
Whichever you prefer.
It might be a little bit long-winded, but in 1990, I was a huge fan of WWF. More importantly, world-class championship wrestling. So I was the world-class fan. My sister and my best friend at the time got me to watch WWF. I was not a huge fan when we first went.
That was WCW at the time, right?
World-class. They were out of Texas with the Von
Oh,
Erichs,
okay.
Freebirds. Freebirds were my all-time favorite tag team personalities.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm big on tag team wrestling. If you can't
That
see
makes
that.
sense. That makes sense.
So there was a live event. I was 17 years old, and we used to go to the Rosemont Horizon, which is Allstate.
Yeah.
A guy by the name of Medler. And he was just a fan. He used to sit front row, signs, women's underwear, make fun of the wrestlers. He approached me and my buddy because we always saw each other.
Yeah.
Now, at the time, I was 5'5", 350 pounds. My partner, my buddy, he was about close to 400 pounds, 5'4". Little
Guys,
Japanese guy.
yeah.
So, like, we had to look, and we were like, oh, we're going to get in this, and we're going to call ourselves Too Fat.
That's a solid name right there.
Well, somebody uses it, but I think
okay.
it's funny, yeah. If you go on Google Too Fat Wrestling, you'll see it.
Okay.
So this guy gave me information to get into a wrestling school with Windy City Pro Wrestling. At the time, it was WCW, Windy City Wrestling.
Okay.
Sam DeCero was the owner. I was trained by him, Sonny Rogers, Dream Warriors, and Untouchables.
Yeah.
So we talk about trials and tribulations and obstacles, and that was a big one.
Yeah.
I was a 17-year-old kid, and you lost lights.
It's okay. They're testing lights right now for the show, guys. Don't be alarmed.
Yeah, we're going dark.
We're going down. Yeah, look at that. It's dramatic now.
So about a year and a half in, I just wasn't feeling it. I was a kid that never learned to lift a weight in my life. I have to lift. I have to tan. I have to show up to practice.
What kind of sports did you play in high school then? Did you do any sports in high school? None?
In
Wow.
grammar school, I loved football. I still love football today.
Yeah.
So in grammar school, I was a really good nose guard and right tackle.
But you never really like in the gym like that
Nope.
until wrestling.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I actually didn't really concentrate on gym. I'm still out of shape, but I'm better out of shape.
How old are you? You want me to ask you?
49. I just turned last
You
summer.
look great for 49.
Thank you.
Fantastic for
I
49.
got a baby face, so it helps.
The moneymaker right here.
Yeah. My tag partner looks like he's 90, and he's actually the same age as me. So.
You know, some people draw different ends of the stick.
Yes.
You know?
I'm lucky on that, I guess.
It's fair.
So I was done with Windy City. One of the trainers left. He was starting back up PWI. I went with him. There were about 14 of us who seriously wanted to concentrate on running in Illinois. But at the time, you needed a wrestling license, which was $5,000 to have. And then the state was involved, and 10% of ticket sales went to them. So a lot of people didn't do it.
Yeah.
So we all got together and we started that. 14 people at a table. You're not going to agree on stuff.
Yeah.
My stepbrother who is Dave Storm, he was going to leave. And when he left, he was starting CCW. I was given an ultimatum to either be friends with him or stay. And I said, you don't give me an ultimatum like that, so I left.
Yeah.
Dave brought me in as a partner. We had a falling out. It's funny how wrestling, falling out.
Yeah.
Which sucks. It really does.
Not
It ruins
fun
friendships.
at all, yeah. What is the turmoil that's happening when you're trying to start that? What are the disagreements that people are having?
The PCW one, it was just me and 2 of the guys saw it this way. 6 others saw it that way. 3 others saw it this way.
Yeah, so
Now you're all butting heads. Nobody's winning.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing battle to where these guys might just go, and I've done it, screw it, do what you want.
Yeah.
To where I had enough and I walked away. My stepbrother and I, it might sound crappy, but I was hustling, like busting my ass, putting up posters, getting sponsors, helping train. And I was done. I was ready to walk. A lot of people were. I was going to start my own thing.
Yeah.
He decided, for the betterment of me, which God bless him, he left. We kept the company, but just for legal matters is why I changed it to POW instead of CCW.
Okay.
So that was 14 years ago.
Wow.
So 14, 15 years we've been doing POW.
That's crazy.
We're going into Wrestle Rage 20 in November. So that's a huge accomplishment.
That is insane.
You said I'm the owner and I'm an active wrestler and I'm tag team champ, right?
Tag team champ. I made a joke in our recent vlog
Yep.
that you're Jackie Mooning this shit.
Oh.
You really? Have you seen Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell?
Yes.
I mean, the resemblance is there. It's you're.
That's a compliment or an insult?
I mean, no, I love Jackie Moon and I love Semi-Pro. I just think it's awesome that not only I've run my own like small basketball leagues and stuff like that before as well. Just trying to create my own opportunities, similar to what it sounds like. You saw wrestling away, and people had their differences and whatever, and you're like, well, I want to do it this way, and you found a way to do that, and you get to be in it. So it's like I think that's insane, and it's so awesome.
There's been 3 times I should have been done. 2 years ago, I tore apart my whole left knee diving off the side of the ring.
Jesus.
When that happened, I legit was like, okay, if it's my ACL, I am done. There was damage to my ACL. They fixed it up. My recovery was only 6 months.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it easier. And Eric was going to be done too, and that's where, hey man, instead of us being done, there's so much we know and so much we can help the business. What if we stay together? And tonight could be the last match we have. You just don't know.
Let's hope not, man.
I hope not either, but I'm content in my head. Like, every time I walk out here, I get a little emotional, like, is this the last one? When the goal is, I really want to get to this one, if it makes sense. I train guys and girls too. I've been doing that for 25 of the 30 years.
What does the training look like? Because I've heard other wrestlers in interviews and stuff speak on it. I get a lot of like vague, I feel like, answers. What is it that is different from training for wrestling entertainment like this as opposed to like training for football or something like that, more traditional
Wrestling
sport?
training is a craft. You still have to be gung-ho, just like a football player. And actually, let me relate this. An amateur wrestler in school, I give them all the credit in the world. You got to cut weight, you got to add weight, you got to do this. You're totally physical. You're actually lifting hard, and you're butting heads, and you're trying to tear apart the person just to get that one, and you win.
Yeah.
In wrestling, it's just as abusive on your body. You have to hit the gym in order to have good physical stamina.
Yeah.
Cardio is huge. But there's so much that goes into pro wrestling, whereas you sit in the crowd, it's entertainment for sure.
Yeah.
And we get entertained by it too. But there's a different side of it to where I sit back. When I'm done with my match today, I won't be done. I'll still stand upstairs. I'll look down at certain things, be proud of my students, guys I bring in from Michigan, which is Eric's guys. There's other guys on the show from CSW and a couple of the other companies around the area. Mm-hmm. And I said it earlier before you guys got here, like, even though they're not my students, they're still my kids. And I'm not married, I don't have kids, but every person I train, I feel like they're my kid.
Yeah.
Because you're watching them grow from something as small as a pea to watermelon, so to speak, when they explode.
Yeah, and you're nurturing them along the whole way. You know,
Yes, and I'm not alone. Like, I don't do all this by myself. Like, set up for this. Imagine me coming here, setting up every chair, the ring by myself, the video screen, the sound system.
That'd be
it's
crazy.
a team effort.
How did you, that's something I also admire a ton about what you've been able to build here is how have you been able to find people that you can rely on and that you do care about? Because we have a lot of people that watch this podcast that are wanting to be entrepreneurs or wanting to do things on their own, and scaling things and doing a big production like this, you need a team. You need people you care about and they care about you. How do you go about like managing those relationships and finding those people?
So in some aspects, in my real jobs, I was treated like crap. And I say real jobs because they're the ones that pay the bills.
Yeah.
This I enjoy, and it's a passion and a love. And sometimes I make money, sometimes I don't. Most times I don't. But training guys and girls, it's great. On the team part of having people that do want to help, and I don't know if I can swear on this.
You can say whatever you want, yeah.
They give a shit. It takes time.
Yeah.
I've been burned so many times where it's like, I don't trust this person, I don't trust this person. Eric Freedom is my legit best friend. We always joke and we call each other BFF in the squared circle, on promo. It's 100% that is my best friend because we've been through so much.
Yeah.
To where we've butted heads and it made us stronger, and you gain that trust by kind of delegating. Here, go try this. And if somebody excels at it, another guy, Brian Allen, is one of the best referees in the Midwest. Every show I do, he shows up early, he just sets up the chairs. It's something you think like, that's just chairs. To me, that's somebody and something I don't have to worry about. It's done.
Yeah.
There's a couple other people set up the entranceway. To me, one less thing I have to worry about.
Yeah.
There's a guy that drives the trailer. He offered to do that. He got a brand new truck so that he could pull my trailer. Like, I think that's awesome.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
One of the other guys helps them with the ring by being on the inside when they unload. It's everybody unloading and loading it back up. So we're all doing this for nickels and dimes, but that 15 minutes we're in the ring, that passion, you can't take that away.
Yeah.
That pop, that roar of the crowd or the fucking boos, that's what we live for.
Yeah.
When it's quiet, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Better change.
In wrestling, you can't be quiet in there.
There's moments.
That's.
And I think with you and your buddies coming to the one show, that was, you put up the YouTube, and I do remember walking away after my match, and I said, hey, you guys having a good time.
Yeah.
Never saw you before. One of the girls up front came in the back, hey, there's some weird guys here that might be a little bit rowdy.
Yeah.
So that's another dynamic that I don't have to worry about that. People come and tell me, and then after my match, I get to go and like, okay, that's the people.
Yeah.
But there was a connection there, like, hey, you guys having a good time? And instantly all of you were like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So to see your YouTube thing, this is cool to me. Like, I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But I just really don't have time to Skype or any of that.
Yeah.
So it's easiest to do a phone interview. You traveled over an hour and a half to be here. And I think it's awesome.
Thank you, man.
So,
I appreciate that.
I hope that answered some of your questions.
No, yeah, of course it did, and I think like you speaking on the value of well, and just the time it takes to find people that do care.
It does take time.
Because, and that's something that I've even experienced in the just starting out only a couple years into doing this. There's tons of people, like you said, that will just burn you. That will just, they don't have your best interest in heart, and I don't even know sometimes that they have their own best interest at heart. When
have you gotten this? Yeah, man, I'll be there. And then come time, they're not there.
Yeah, that is 100%. And I'm nervous. We've got, not to please spoil this, but we've got a pretty large group of people that we're planning on coming to this upcoming event for you guys.
Okay.
And there's a couple people I'm a little nervous about that might not show up. So hopefully I don't have to say that about them. But
I
they're
know you got
missing
your
out if they
tickets,
do.
so you're all good.
Yeah, we've got our tickets. But I wanted to ask. I had a friend of mine, when I was telling him I was going to be doing this interview. He was one of the guys that was with me that night. He asked, how do you guys go about kind of formulating and evolving sort of the persona that you carry into the ring? You know, because it's an elevate. Even people that go by, you know, a more like themselves in real life, that have a similarities with who they are in real life, they're still hyping themselves up when they're in the ring and the person that they are being here in POW. How do you guys go about determining like what we want to do? Is that up to the individual person? Is that something that maybe you and your partners are like, I think this would fit best for us, or how does that work?
So when you come in to start training, and I've dealt with this a lot. Kids will walk through the door, or grown men or grown women, whatever, but they're like, hey, when it's time for a match, I want this to be my name. And it could be Marshmallow. Nothing by their movement in the ring spells Marshmallow. Like, Marshmallow to me is a heavy-set guy, pasty, white, and like just gonna destroy you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because if you take a mouthful of marshmallows, that's gonna destroy you.
Oh, yeah.
One way or another. Either
I love it. I got a sweet tooth, but yeah, it would definitely mess me up the next morning.
So like, you can have a list of names, something might catch.
Yeah.
One of my guys, train wreck. When he first signed up, you look at him, he looks like a train. So there was no promise made, but it was, when you're ready for a match, that might be your name. And then as you start getting closer to your debut, it's like, okay, we need to be serious because they got to get geared. They got to look their part.
Yeah. How does one go about, how long does it take, I guess, in between them starting that first day of training when I walk in to that first match, usually?
It all depends on the person.
What would you say roughly? Is it like a few months? Is it a year?
I'm going to say 8 months to a year. One of the guys I'm in a feud with right now has been with me 2.5, 3 years. He tore his ACL during training. Older guy, bad knees, and it happened. So instead of quitting and going to the wayside, the guy continued to show up, learned psychology, kept coming around, had an awesome gimmick that he wanted to do, persona. And then an opportunity presented itself, and it was like, this is yours, run with it.
Yeah.
And it's that grunge, goofy, big guy kind of thing. Eric Freedom, perfect example, my tag partner. From the day I met him, there was something about him.
Yeah.
He was Turbo Eric Freedom when we first met. That was in 94, 95.
Okay.
And it didn't last long. He went and wrestled for another company. The promoter wanted to put him in a tag. He was going to be Eric Love. He's like, I don't like that. I want to be... It was a hippie gimmick.
Yeah.
I want to be Eric Freedom because peace means free, right?
Yeah.
And love and all that stuff.
Okay.
So there was Charming Chad. He was Love. And Eric Freedom. But if you look at Eric right now, he owns the hippie. The long hair, the long goatee.
That's your tag partner right now. Right?
Yeah.
The Revolution. Revolution.
So you've seen the side of Revolution, Eric, which he stole Electric Eric Freedom, the indie icon, hardcore hippie. But he would come to the ring with a box of Fruit Loops. That was his munchies.
Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah.
And then when you talk to him, ask him about the Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Will do.
as far as training, you need to know when you come in. There's no timeline for me to say you'll have your match in 4 months.
Yeah. It's up
how
to
much you put into it, how quick you pick things up, and where we're at in wrestling. Like, does this make sense to bring this guy in at this point? Nope. Let's hold off 2 more months.
Okay.
I have a guy right now. He's on the crisp. He could be used in something, but he's such a good dude and so big. Why waste him? Let's save that and keep teaching him more and more.
Until the point.
And I said team effort. I don't do the training alone either. I'm blessed that one of my old students is with me.
So
I won't mention who it is. Just if you join, you'll find out. But we talk about trust. We had a falling out. He's back, and the trust with him, I would give the shirt off my back to him.
That's awesome.
And same from him to me. And it's a good mindset. We're old school. I don't do a lot of flips and all that. I'll teach you here and there, but I like story wrestling. That's what I grew up on. And that's something missing in pro wrestling right now. The story's really
I think so too. As somebody who, I feel like when I was much younger, I was obviously more heavily into like WWE and stuff like that. And I always think that maybe it's like I'm biased because I'm like, oh, those were the guys I grew up with. But at the same time, I have heard from people I know that continued following it, friends of mine that really are still into WWE. They do say that there's a similar kind of magic that's just missing. Something is not quite right. It's nothing bad about it. It's just not exactly missing something.
And now don't get me wrong. I like all pro wrestling. 2 of my former students are at WWE. One's on TV all the week, every week.
So,
actually, both of them. One's on NXT and one's on WWE.
Wow. That's going to
So,
feel awesome. Congratulations.
It is. I've never gotten the opportunities at WWE. I never got looked at. Part of that was on me, but I lived through them. Like, I helped. Little piece of me is there for them.
Yeah.
And that's cool. But in all honesty, I prefer to watch AEW.
Okay.
It's not my style of wrestling, but it entertained me. And there's a lot of people there that I know, and it's like, this is cool for them. This is cool to see.
Yeah.
You know?
That's sweet. I have one last question before I don't want to hold you up all day. I know you got to get
Bring
your
me back
operations
another
going.
time, man.
We will.
I like this.
I would love to have you in studio one of these times
Sure.
too. That would be fantastic. Along the lines of people getting ready when they join poww and become a wrestler and stuff like that, we talked about about 8 months to a year. How do they go? You mentioned gear, and they're creating their costumes, stuff like that. Is that something like almost like a Spider-Man superhero thing, where it's like a rite of passage to create your own costume, or is that something that you guys develop together?
Together.
Okay.
I think a lot of it is on their own. Like, Meat Hooks O'Bannon. Perfect example.
It's a great name, Meat
He
Hooks
wasn't
O'Bannon.
born Meat Hooks O'Bannon. He became Meat Hooks O'Bannon. But he was bouncing, and then he got the nickname Meat Hooks. Right?
Yeah.
He's Irish.
Perfect.
O'Bannon. He
Yeah.
looks great in a skirt. So, I mean, kilt, whatever.
Yeah.
But trust me, when you take a chop from Meat Hooks, it makes you understand the meaning of Meat Hooks. That is a big, stiff hand.
Yeah.
So,
That's
like,
awesome.
there's dynamics of every person. When I started, I was Firefighter Jim. My
Firefighter
choice,
Jim.
they could have said no. I gave them a list of 50 names. To me, it was like, I'm trying. I'm showing an effort.
Yeah.
And I regret it because I was 18, putting on a fire helmet, legit. My sister's friend was a paramedic, so she got me an old fire jacket that was used in fire. So like,
That's
it
pretty heavy,
smelled
too,
like
yeah.
smoke.
Yeah.
Helmet, t-shirts, my tights, it said Firefighter Jim.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing flashy back then. It was either blue, black, white, red, and then you just put your name on the side. But about 5 years in, I'm like, this gimmick is doing nothing for me. And then when I started, the guy that gave me the opportunity to use that, I regret it because looking back, I was 17. How many people believed I was an actual firefighter?
Yeah.
And I never was. That was my first dream when I was a little kid. I wanted to be a firefighter.
Okay, well, at least
Now I
there
got
was
to
some-
intertwine,
yeah.
right? So then I started doing two. There was Firefighter Jim and Black Iron. And Black Iron was hooded, fully black. Nobody knew. My best friend's girlfriend.
You were doing
at
both at the same time.
Same time, same shows. Match 1 is Firefighter Jim. Match 3 is Black Iron.
I mean, good. So you're 17, 18 years old when you're doing
at
this.
that time, I could run.
You
and
could
change
do two,
quick.
yeah, that
Now
makes
it's
sense.
like, yeah, get out of here.
That's fair. That's crazy though. Two separate things like that a night. That is phenomenal.
Bring me back another time.
I would love to. Like I said, I don't want to hold you up all day, and we got some other wrestlers on deck here. But thank you, Jim.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll do this again, and I'm beyond pumped. Is there anything else you want to say to the people of Detox about either this upcoming show or just anything about being on the show today?
Keep watching the show. These are good people, especially Darren putting stuff together like this, giving you an opportunity to see an inside backstage kind of look at pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And this all came from one experience of you showing up to an independent show.
That's awesome.
So whether it's you come to poww Entertainment or something maybe in New Jersey if you're watching, go check out an independent show because I'm telling you, this is where it's at. TV, that's our dream. But all those guys already made it. We're trying to make it.
Yeah. It starts here. It all starts
Absolutely.
here, places like this. But I appreciate you. Thank you again.
Thank you, bro.
And we'll get set up here with the next guy.
All right.
And we're back. This is part 2 of poww Behind the Scenes, episode 139 of Detox. We're now here. We're joined by Eric Freedom,
Yes, sir.
the tag team partner and current champion of poww tag team.
Yeah,
there is of
current
poww.
poww Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The honor is all yours.
It is.
I'm telling you, I know.
So, I gotta ask you.
Yes.
You said you saw part of the video we
I
just
did,
recently
from
put
Twin
out.
Lakes.
Yes.
Yes.
You had a special move in there that we were blown away by.
What was the special?
This is you got down.
And then got back up. That is a special. move
That is a special.
nowadays for
You
me.
were down. Not to get super.
No, yeah.
You got down and you got in between this man's cheeks.
Oh, and had some dinner.
You did. You
Yeah,
were eating.
I was hungry.
Where did you develop that move? What school?
What's
of,
nice about missing a tooth is you could really pinch the skin in it. And then technically, if I could get these inside the pocket, I end up with some extra cash. So like it all works for me.
That's
Yeah.
It was effective
Eating corn
too.
on the cob is a bitch. You just miss one row over and over and over.
You got to come back over.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, we were blown away. We were blown away by everything we saw at POW and me
Yeah, I
and
heard
my
it. You're like,
buddies.
oh my god, he's eating his ass. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, if I had a spoon, I would have used that.
I was
Like,
genuinely.
it's
That's
all
what I
for
thought. The
entertainment.
fork was there.
Yeah,
for
no.
Kyle or Kyle.
That's for the front. You take the wiener like spaghetti.
Oh, okay.
Spoons for the back. You know
That's
that.
intense. You can't do. Can you do that at POW?
I don't know.
Anything goes.
Well, I wouldn't. If it happens in a locker room, I don't know.
You're tag team champ with
Yeah.
the
Give me
owner,
Blaze.
so you can do what you got.
I have a little bit of free reign. I have a little bit of. I can get away with some stuff here and there.
Yeah.
Because we're buddies. It does. Yes, I have a little bit of sway. You know what I say.
But that special move you did also turned the tides in that match. Kind of swung the
Absolutely.
pendulum back.
Absolutely. Well, check it out. There's a big guy in the ring. We've been trying to punch him and he hasn't fallen down. The object is to get that son-of-a-bitch on the ground so we can pin him.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, I'm going to make him expend energy. How's that? I'm going to bite him in the ass. Why does he have to expend energy? He doesn't like me biting the ass. He was trying to run from me.
So yeah, he was scared.
Right? Well, not just scared. He was hurting. And then by the time a 400-pound guy does a lap in the ring, bitch just ran a Boston Marathon and he's at least having some problems breathing. So he might want to lay down if I don't have to force him down. There's psychology.
That's fair. Yeah, it's layered. I didn't think of it like that.
It's like an onion.
Yeah, it's a good Shrek reference.
Thank you.
We've
Thank you.
So-
Never mind.
Jimmy told me to ask you about the Breakfast Club,
Oh.
and that you would know what that meant. I have
know
no
exactly.
idea.
Yeah. So, before you saw the incarnation of Eric Freedom Now, one half of the revolution, where it's black, right? Before that, my character was a hippie from the 60s. So, fringe, bell bottoms, box of Fruit Loops. As a heel, you know what a heel is?
He was mentioning that. I didn't know that terminology until
So a
recently.
heel's a bad guy. So when I was portraying a heel and a bad guy, I wanted people to make me mad. I would come out with the Fruit Loops and reach a handful as I come to ringside and like, and just throw them at you. And people are like, what an asshole.
Yeah.
Me with cereal. What a dick, right?
Was it stale or was it?
I bought them that day. It's not like I had to
That's
deal with,
good.
dude, Kellogg's owes me thousands of dollars.
They
And
do.
they should have sponsored me and helped me advertise their shit. Because
That
like,
would've been
once the Fruit Loop thing, like people didn't understand why I came out with cereal. And to me, it's like, it's character development to a point. I am a hippie from the 60s. If I am a hippie, what do I probably do? I probably get, right.
Yeah,
What do you do after that? Munchies.
gotta eat something.
What's my munchie of choice? Probably the Fruit Loops. Also, I'm wearing tie-dye. Fruit Loops are multicolored. It kind of fits. So
It
as
is.
a baby face now, I come out, throw the Fruit Loops at people, open your mouth, dump them in their mouth. They're having a good time. You get in the ring. Who wants the Fruit Loops? You throw it to that side. Now, you try to get it to a kid. I do. Why? He's going to want that autographed by the guy who threw it to him.
Yeah.
So eventually, during intermission or end of the show, if he's out and I'm out, he's going to come up to me or she's going to come up to me and ask me to autograph that. And I can tell you, I know people that have had that on there for 20 years just because there was a connection.
That's super cool.
Did they ever eat it? No. Is it probably stale shit? Yes. Is it worth more than it was before? No. There's a connection.
Yeah, it's important.
There's a connection that they respect.
Yeah.
So the Breakfast Club came out because here I am hitting people with Fruit Loop boxes all the time, right? And I decided to make something like, I called it the Breakfast Club. Number one, it's a great movie. Number two, that movie is so relative to wrestling. That locker room is that fucking movie.
Interesting.
It's the Breakfast Club.
How so?
Different personalities, different upbringings, different religions, different backgrounds, all working together for one common goal. It's a Breakfast Club. They all came to school to do their punishment to get out and serve their time. We're all here to make everybody better. So it's a Breakfast Club of people.
Yeah. And you guys are putting on a phenomenal show,
And the
too.
fans are part of the Breakfast Club.
Yeah. in a
You have
way.
all sorts of nationalities, races, faiths, and people. Like, so it all works hand in hand. So anyways, I was working a feud with this kid, and we were coming to the crescendo. This is the end of our thing. We're not going to meet. We back and forth, left each other bloody the whole feud. And I wanted to do something special with the Breakfast Club. I've always said it, but I didn't have anything that represented it. So when I finally beat him, I threw him out on the floor. And I took a box of Fruit Loops and I dumped it all over him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, not done yet. And I'm like, sorry. And he goes, sorry for what? And I pulled out a gallon of milk and I'm like, welcome to the Breakfast Club. And I drowned him. So he was covered in Fruit Loops and milk. And
It's a sticky mess.
yeah, no showers at the building. Ride home was kind of milky.
A little smelly.
Yeah.
A little sweaty.
But that was the Breakfast Club if you wanted to hear
Wow,
it.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
No one likes taking that because it's, getting dumped with milk is kind of fucking
That would be tough.
a little bit.
How have you...
I'd rather
so-
wrestle on Jello.
Yeah.
I've done that. It's really nice.
You wrestled in Jello.
Yeah, I used to there was a guy in Milwaukee at the time named Rambo Robinson, part of my upbringing. And he was a wrestler, and I'd worked against him, worked shows with him. And one day he's like, "Hey, I'm running Jello Wrestling," and 3 of the 4 girls
What is Jello Wrestling? What is that?
So they do it at a
entail?
bar. You're at a bar, okay? And then they have like a little pit at the bar, or a little low part on the dance floor. And what they do is they take like the mats that are here, lay them down, put a tarp over that, and then put Jello on it. And then 2 girls go in there.
Jello?
Like a whole bunch of Jello, and then it makes the surface real slippy. It's usually 2 girls in there fighting. Oh, hopefully I see a tit pop out. That's the entertainment of it. Ain't no one getting hurt. There's really no cause for the fight. It's not enough. That's the thing. So he's like, hey, would you be a plant in the audience? So when they challenge a guy, you come out, because I've worked with 3 of the 4 girls in there with wrestling. So I'm like, all right, I can bring my wrestling in here and communicate with them, even though it's not this.
Yeah.
And funny story, so the one that I didn't know, her name was Chiquita, like the fucking banana. She was tall, blonde hair, and yellow fucking swimsuit. Like, hey, man, fits the gimmick, Chiquita, I get it. And we get in there, and we're horsing around and laughing and having a good time, and then this one just takes her nails in my back, and I'm like, the fuck is going on?
She just got real in the Jello pit.
It did, and I'm like, hey, you better settle.
Yeah.
And so we were messing around again, and then I get a slap on the back, and I'm like, you better stop. This is the last time I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
And she had to go one more time, so I'm like, okay, we're going to hurt her and make it look like an accident. We're not going to hurt her to break anything, but we're going to hurt her to make sure she's out of the rest of the time I'm in this, because I'm not enjoying the shit I'm going through.
Yeah.
And we're just having fun. So, in essence, what I did was I picked her up for a body slam. And made it look as if my feet went out from underneath me. So I gave her probably one of the first world's strongest slams onto onto wood, and she went, ah! And then we finished the match without her.
She's part of this match, so like going in, she knew what was going on. Like she knew.
Yeah, let's play and let's not hurt each other. Let's put on a show, and she made it real, and so I made it real, and then she didn't like that, and she wasn't part of it, and we managed the rest. And afterwards, I shook her hand and thanked her.
Damn.
And the reason I like Jello is because when she rinsed off, that Jello conditioned my hair more than anything else.
Really?
It was crazy, the amount of softness in my hair. I almost went home to buy Jello to shower and then just let it set. Like, oh my God, it's so smooth. It's
what
crazy.
flavor Jello would you
Well, the best up part was I would want it sugar-free, because that stuff wasn't sugar-free. When that gets in your eyes and nose, like it was so gross, like because you breathe it and you're like, ugh. And while we were wrestling, I turned my head and a snot line just like fell into the Jello, and I'm like, oh my God, that's and we're rolling around in it, but yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
So interesting.
That's the answer, guys. If you're ever wondering when it's okay to, roundhouse Ray Rice a chick, it's 3 hits.
It's called
3
protect
hits.
yourself.
3 hits, then it's over.
3 hits. Sometimes 2. You hit them, they hit the floor, and
Then it's over. Then it's over. So
Yeah.
what? You mentioned that's kind of interesting that this girl specifically kind of was not playing by the rules and things got ugly.
Yeah.
How often does stuff like that happen in the ring? Where
In
it's
wrestling?
like in wrestling, as opposed to obviously that was kind of a different situation where maybe somebody is.
It happens a lot. It just depends on the situation, right? Okay, so one example. We're at a show. Me and Jimmy are having a match, and somebody in the crowd thinks he's a wrestler and jumps in the ring. That's one example of that. Our response: stomp the fuck out of it. All of us. Stomp the fuck out of it. Why? You're getting in this ring saying you're professional. All right, let's see.
Okay.
So that's our response. Watch it on TV. Look, you've seen it on
awesome
TV.
that you guys can do that.
Well, we don't want to do that. We want you to sit
But
and
I mean,
enjoy what
it
we're
makes
doing.
sense that, like, in the context of fucking wrestling entertainment,
You're
that
protecting
if you're
it.
gonna,
If you're gonna jump in, you're gonna see a side of wrestling that you thought was bullshit, and then you're gonna go, fuck that, I ain't doing that again, or I really like that because I'm a masochist, and how do I get involved?
yeah,
I was at a show once where a bar show, 2 girls wrestling, an 80-year-old guy jumped up, stood on the ring and pulled his dick out for the girls to fucking see at a bar show in Milwaukee.
what are you doing, bro?
Well, the 2 girls stopped wrestling, pulled him in the ring, poww drived him, and he left in an ambulance.
That's fair.
I don't know if it's fair, but it's justified.
Yeah. Holy shit, that is
Brought him closer to that groundhog's bringing your mail, but I bet he never did that again.
good. Hopefully not. That's fucking terrible.
So one aspect is coming into ring is kind of what you said. Another, like if you're saying, have I ever gotten to the ring with somebody that said they were a wrestler and I found out really quick they weren't? That happens all the time too.
Well, does it, like if you guys, I mean, hopefully not, here in POW or something like that, but like when you've been maybe with an organization or something like that and you have a set match like this in a show, is there ever a time where like
it gets real?
You're like, what the like?
Oh yeah,
you're
sure,
like,
sure. Look, at the end of the day, you and I could have grown up in wrestling together, been trained together, had the same circuit, and one day you fucked my girlfriend, and my girlfriend left me, and you're in that locker room that I am in. I have to deal with that because I'm a professional.
Yeah.
What that did was personal. I'm here, I'm going to shake your hand, say nice to fucking see you. I'm going to see the cunt that fucked me over. I'm going to say nice to fucking see you.
Yeah.
And then we're not going to talk. Now, if we wrestle in a match, who's to say that I am still not upset about what you did a year ago and might take liberties with you at certain points, and at that point it's up to you to decide, is it worth fighting this back or not. Now it turns into something not controlled or gets controlled really quickly, and there's whole difference.
It's kind of a, you can't do that in many other lines of work. That's kind of a perk almost, if someone were to do that.
It's respect.
Yeah.
It's a respect.
What's that?
I've had guys work with me and you give them opportunities.
Yeah.
Right? If you ever wrestled, your first match, you'd be scared to death. As much confidence as you might show off that curtain inside your little baby in the corner sucking your thumb waiting to shit yourself, hoping this guy's going to take care of me because I don't want to look like an asshole in front of all my friends.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, so it's about protection. This business is about protection, right? At the end of the day, I want you to fucking look good, so I got to do what I got to do to make you look good no matter how I feel about you personally. This is about doing business. I'm getting paid to come in here and do a job.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that personal shit out. Drama, leave that shit at the door. And anywhere you work, whether it's your shoot job, a wrestling job, you got to leave the drama at the door, because if you're thinking about drama when you're trying to perform, you're not going to perform.
Mine's not on it.
You're distracted. You're not going to hear things. You're not going to respond to things. You might get upset and hit someone, and it just
snowballs.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's interesting. That was a very specific. That didn't happen to you, did it? That was a specific story.
I'll give you an example.
I'll give you an example.
I'm not a fighter. I'm not a fighter at all. I'm a wrestler. I'm an entertainer. I'm not a fighter. I didn't get in many fights. I'm not the guy at the bar throwing punches. I'm the guy trying to talk everybody down. I'm a politician. The image is a fighter. Can I fight? Yes. Do I want to? No. Do I want to outsmart you? Yes, that's what I do. I'm all about psychology.
Yeah.
For example, I was working with this guy in Indiana. It was his hometown. He asked to book me because I was a champion. Now, he wasn't going to beat me in his hometown, but he wanted to get a pin where it restarted so he looked good in front of his family. So even though I'm the baby face of the company, we're in the championship, we're at his hometown where he has sold 200 tickets. I'm not going to be the baby face. They're going to cheer for him because they know him and they want them to beat me. So my dynamic going out is going to be weird. I know I'm not going to win him over, right? So the promoter gives us 12 minutes. Start the match. He has a manager. We circle up. He's talking to his manager. Okay. We just lost a minute. Cool. So he does this 4 times. We're 4 minutes into the match and we haven't done shit because he wants to talk to his manager. So I'm aggravated. The crowd's getting bored. And I'm like, okay. So as he bends over to talk to his manager, I came up behind him and gave him a hard kick in his fucking fat ass. And he turned to me and I'm like, we gonna go or what?
Yeah.
And so we circled up again, and he went to talk to the manager again. I'm like, okay. So I ran in there and tried to give him a shoot, schoolboy, right? Shoot. I'm going to take him over on his back because he don't see it coming.
Yeah.
He's 500 pounds. So when I went down there and I went,
snap. Surprised you didn't fucking snap.
I looked up at it. I'm like, gonna be a rough night, huh? And he goes, yep. And he sat on me with all 500 pounds.
Oh.
So I went out of the ring to catch my breath. And I learned a neat trick. There's something about when you call a fat guy fat that send him into a rage. Truth hurts. Okay? So I looked at him as I'm upset and I can't breathe. He might have cracked my fucking rib. I'm like, fuck you, you fat piece of shit. And he got out of the ring. And I made him chase me twice. I'm around at 18. So he has just run the Boston Marathon.
Yeah.
I slide in. As he's crawling into the ropes because he's blowed up, I kicked a field goal with his fucking forehead. As hard as I fucking could between the eyes.
God damn.
And his head snapped back and came back, and I rolled him to his butt. I sat him up and I put him in a nice snug chin lock, and I whispered in his ear, "You gonna work with me now?" And he went, "Uh-huh." And I went, "Okay." And the rest of the match was just fine.
That is so insane. It's just as a fan of wrestling and what you guys do here, it's just crazy that something like that is going on while you guys are doing it. So does it work like that often where it's like, or I guess I want to ask this, how much of a particular match, like if I come to POW,
Sure.
Tonight, like if I'm here and I'm sitting right here, how much, if the promoter gives you, like they'll say they give you 15 minutes for the fight or whatever, how much of that, like how many, is it just beats?
How much are we planning out?
How much is
bullet
word
points.
for word? Okay, so it's bullet points, you guys fill in the rest.
It can go many different ways.
Because that situation you just described was like a freestyle.
Yeah, that was
you had to take control of
I
it.
had to figure it out and get him on the line because the promoter paid us to fucking work a match, and this is what he wants. He ain't doing it. I got to get him on course, otherwise I'll just walk and get counted out, and he can deal with the promoter when he gets back. But that ain't no good for the fucking people that paid money to see it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you got to figure, like, you got to put yourself in the context. What's going on here? How do I figure it? So you could work matches different ways, right? You dance. Dancing is when you don't know anything, right? The only thing you know walking out is who's supposed to win, how the promoter said it's supposed to happen, and make sure that happens. Anything else, the promoter is entrusted with you. Now you have options. Do we want to call we call them spots. Do you want to talk over some spots? Those are our bullet points, or our spots. So sometimes you call some spots in the beginning, and maybe the cutoff is a spot. There's psychology to this. Sometimes you don't call anything at all and you just dance, and what that means is, let's say it's your third match. I've been doing it 15 years. Who's got seniority in the ring? There's a hierarchy. I do.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. You've been in it 5 minutes, you don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah.
So you're gonna trust me with your life, I'm gonna trust you with my life, and then you're gonna trust me with making neither of us look stupid because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
All you need to do is listen and respond.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, you have no say, which is okay. But as we're going, you just got to listen and react. And that can be in real time. That could be we're in an arm bar and I'm telling you a couple things to do. We get up and do it. Or we do it on the fly. As I'm running past you, I will tell you what to do. And I hope you fucking hear it because that's what I plan on taking.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that's dancing. That's also, we're going to go out there and do some things and test out the way the crowd is reacting. And then do some things based on how they're reacting.
So we've got a couple routes, almost like a fork in the road.
The problem with planning A to Z,
Yeah.
like a movie script, is in your head you're going, okay, the people are going to react like this for this and react like this for this, but what if you get out there and you start doing this script and they ain't reacting for shit?
Yeah.
Well, you're stuck because you can't change it because that's all that motherfucker knows.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to go through the rest of this match, bore the piss out of the people because we couldn't change it up.
Yeah. Because you
Instead
have
of
one way.
Yeah, I like, let's come up with something in the beginning. If you're going to cut me off to get your heat during the match, let me know what it is. And then what the comeback's going to be. That's usually it. A couple little things, one in the beginning, one in the middle, one in the end, and the rest we go on.
3-act structure like
because
that
at the end of the
makes
day, we don't have to call it in the back that you're going to throw me off the ropes and give me an elbow.
Yeah.
I don't need to be, just shoot me off the ropes and give me a fucking elbow. Like, I don't need to know that's coming. I don't need to memorize before I walk out there a fucking elbow.
Yeah.
But if we're going to do, like, I'm going to get an elbow, feed the fucking clothesline, do the slip slam, pull me in for a roll up, fucking kick me off there, I'm going for a reverse fucking pin, we're going to stand up into the fucking backslide, that I'd want to go over a few times.
That makes sense.
Right?
It's a little bit more complicated.
Correct.
That's fair.
Correct. So it's based on who you're working, what they're comfortable with, because at the end of the day, I want you comfortable and you want me comfortable.
Yeah.
So it's a negotiation. We're going to negotiate to get to both of us are on a common ground and agreeable, and then we're going to try to go out there and put that match and visualize and execute and give the promoter what his vision of what he was looking for, because at the end of the day, we're not here for each other, we're here like to help him.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That all that
there's a lot to this business. A lot of people think, oh, they just drive somewhere, they get out of the car, they wrestle, and they go home. Like, there's a lot more that goes on in between, during, after. Like,
that's crazy. I have one last question for you, pertaining to POW specifically.
Sure.
Who has your favorite costume or
Like
get up,
wrestling
wrestling attire?
in the history
POW.
of POW or right now?
Both.
Back in the day, I'd say me.
Okay, fair.
Not to be, but
No, you hype yourself up. Don't hype it up.
I try to be humble, but at the same time, like, there's nothing wrong with being proud of shit as long as it's not braggadocious, right? So I try to be humble when I speak. As weird as like, I don't have to be humble. I've earned where I've gotten, but I feel that's what helped me in this business. So that's what I'm gonna give back to the business. Humble and respect, right?
Makes sense.
So like, what were we talking about?
What was your favorite
So
costume?
mine back in the day, because I would come out with the fringe and the glitter. I went to Joliet, Illinois, okay? I went to a fucking Goodwill over there and I found a muumuu. You know what a muumuu is?
No idea.
It's a big dress that like a big old lady would wear. It's called a muumuu. You just pop it over your head and it's a big round summer dress. And it was for a big person, right? So we took that and I'm like, and it had 1-inch squares, and the 1-inch squares were kind of tie-dyed looking and colored. And I'm like, I bet you we could split this and make a cape. It'd be pretty cool. So we bought it for like $5, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so how are we gonna do this out? And then my wife ordered online 2,500 half-inch square mirrors that she's then glued in every square. So in essence, I had a disco ball, and when I walk out, wore it like literally, like once I took it off, you know how when you wear something heavy, it feels like once I took it off, like my arms would float, like, oh my god, that was heavy as shit.
Yeah,
like it bends hangers, like yeah. So as far, and I had 20 different outfits and 20 different jackets. So every time I went to POW, like when I'd go do TV, if I go do a TV taping for an independent, not WWE, because then you don't wear flashy shit because you look better than them. It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
But if you go to another place and like, okay, I'm a featured guy, like I'd go do TV, you're on match 1, you're on match 4, you're on match 7, cool. I'd go match 1, come back, share change, rip that shit off and put that on, because this is the next week of TV. I don't want to look like I'm in the same shit.
Yeah.
Get changed, do that. Get changed in the back, talk over my match, get suited up, and then do. So I always had so many different outfits to make you look better and better and better.
You crazy, you're just moving like that.
Yeah,
too.
you have to. It makes you look good, because then on TV, week 1 you're in this, and like, oh, he does some nice shit. Week 2, oh fucking look at that one. Week 3, oh man, so they didn't even gotta like my wrestling.
So they're filming a lot of that at once too.
Yes,
that's cool.
All in the same day. You're filming like 4 weeks of TV. So you're doing 4 weeks of TV. You're doing 4 matches, 1 a week. You want 4 fucking changes of clothes, so you don't look the same every week.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So at POW, I think I was the best dressed back in the day, just because of my amount of garb.
Yeah.
Now I've settled down, so I wouldn't say the best dress. I like IPA.
I like IPA.
I like IPA.
Too.
I like their derbies. I like the beers. I like the Irish heritage involved in it. The colors.
Yeah.
Their Oi thing's huge fucking over.
Yeah.
So right now I'd say they're probably the best dressed.
I'd agree. I think they got some swag.
Yeah,
when they
I mean,
walk
it's
out
not
to the
like
ring.
crazy creative glitters and shit falling off, but it's like your shit looks really nice. Their singlets
It
look
fits.
really nice.
You see them when they say they're IPA. I
I've
don't
gone to shows
hesitate.
where you look at guys wrestle, I'm like, fuck, when's he gonna wash his gear? It's the first time here and it looks wrinkled, it's falling off and fucking torn. Like, what part of professional in wrestling don't you get?
Yeah.
That's yarder shit. Like, that ain't professional shit. Like,
Yeah.
look, if you dress like the crowd looks, there's a disconnect. Because if you look in the ring and say, God, that guy looks like me, he's dressed like me, has the same body as me.
It's supposed to be
Why am I
larger than
watching
life.
this guy?
Yeah.
Why do
yeah.
you think the ring's elevated?
Yeah.
The ring's elevated because now you look up to us.
Yeah.
Psychology and everything.
Oh yeah. It was all stage performance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Eric, for sitting down with us.
I'm gonna
I
teach you a
appreciate
handshake
it.
real quick on
Yeah.
camera.
Okay.
All right, wrestler handshake. This is old school. Now, if you do it to some of the newer guys, they might not appreciate it because old school is lost. It's as all old school shit goes away.
Okay.
Back in the day, shake my hand really light.
Really light.
Right? See how light I am? You barely feel me.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that
like,
light.
it's like a feather.
Yes. This is, if we were going to work back in the day, we would introduce and say, hi, nice to meet you, and be really light like this. Why?
Not
Because we're
sure
tough
why.
wrestlers. Why we
Some sort of
learn
trust,
wrestling
maybe?
this? No. This is saying, I work light, and I'm gonna take care of you. If you shake a guy's hand like, nice to meet you, and he's like, hey, how's it going? Like, plan on it being a stiff night. He's telling you right now, I work really fucking snug.
Yeah. It's not fun.
So you sometimes get an education on the handshake.
Yeah.
What kind of person you're dealing with. Now it doesn't. Now if you go to WWE and shake like Hunter's hand, they'd be like, God, shake like a man, do it like this. But back in the day, it was 2 fingers, nice and gentle. I'm gonna work with you. It's
That's interesting. That's crazy. It's really funny that there's like a specific thing for that too.
Used to be, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I actually, it's funny in the video we did with on your guys' thing. I actually taught some of the people that were with us basketball. We like dap up. It's more like
sure.
a slide.
Yep.
It's like you catch it there,
Yep.
and that's it. And
Yeah.
they were like trying to give me there. I'm like, no, just
No,
click,
this.
click. And it ended up getting cut from the video because it just didn't make sense narratively what we were doing. But
Sure.
that's interesting that there's a whole separate thing for that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But thank you again for doing this. This was fantastic.
anytime you want to learn some shit that I'm not supposed to talk about, like I respect you, and that's why I'm doing it. So anytime, I'd be more than happy to.
I would love to have you back.
right.
Maybe in studio one of these days. But we'll be back for. I'm going to see you in a week.
Yeah, Twin Lakes, I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
be
going to be
there.
fun. The
Have you ever-
Revolution.
Yes.
You guys, is the title on the line?
Yeah, tonight and next week.
Oh my God.
We're getting old.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna take some count out victories near the end just to hold on to that shit a little bit longer.
You gotta do what you gotta do to win.
Dude, tonight we got Kazile and Tommy McCall. Like
Kazile, that's how you say it?
Kazile.
You know, that's a tough name.
Part of Carney.
Really?
Carney's a language. Kazile is Carney talk. You want me to talk Carney real quick?
Let's do it.
Give me something to say. Give me a line and I'll say it in Carney.
Thanks for watching.
These ain't easy feezer weezer cheesing.
Okay.
He's I me's I needs aim is easier Rizik, he's happy easy teasy beezy easier. Hi, my name's Eric, I'm happy to be here.
Holy shit. That was very fast.
That's a language that they used to talk back in the day. So back in the 40s and 30s when they didn't have music and ambiance and the echo of the ring, people were right up on the ring. And wrestling was real back then. So if they heard you say fucking elbow, they went, oh, it's fake. And back then the stigma wasn't real. But if I talked Carney to you,
You had no fucking
you
idea.
knew it. They didn't. I could scream shit as loud as I
That's
fucking
crazy.
wanted. And they had no idea.
You gotta
So I
bring that
took
back.
Yeah. Well, I teach the young guys. Young guys don't learn it because no one goes back and checks out history, which you should, because you don't know where you're going to go if you don't know where we came from.
Yeah.
So I try to teach some, and what's nice too is knowing it and being able to talk in a locker room about guys in the locker room that you're talking about but have no idea
Oh yeah.
you're talking, you know.
Language will do that. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That was
You're
awesome.
welcome.
And thank you for this interview. Thank you for your
You're
time,
very
man. Appreciate it.
I'll see you in Twin Lakes.
I will see you then.
Air Freedom out. Peace.